Hello and welcome back to the third episode of the Fighters Guild questline in Oblivion. The story so far has us, a now seasoned Fighters Guild member, once simply in search of booze money, rise through the ranks in the guild to Guardian under the auspices of Guild Champion Modron O'Rain, who, in an effort to keep the guild running despite many contracts and members joining the now established rival Blackwood company, O'Rain decided to use guild leader Velena Donton's son, Varanus, in contracts against her wishes, as her first son perished, causing Donton to become complacent. Unfortunately, Varanus too was slain during a contract in what appears to be meddling of the nefarious Blackwood company. O'Rain was then swiftly expelled from the guild for his actions, and we having to pay the price in aiding our former ally. To begin the quest, the Stone of Saint Alessia, we visit the Guildmaster Velena Donton in the Coral Guildhall, though she rebukes.
You hardly seem worth talking to.
It seems with Modron O'Rain being expelled from the guild, we also are not welcome in the Coral Guildhall after Donton's son was killed. Leaving the Imperial Guildmaster to lick her wounds, we find ourselves looking for contracts and head southwest towards the city of Anvil. Thinking it best we change out of the Blackwood armor we'd procured and into Varanus Donton's steel armor we were going to give to his mother before she unceremoniously booted us from the hall. Once inside the guild hall, we find the local leader Azan hard at practice as usual, and he stops from his hacking to question.
Here for more work, are you? I've got one last contract for you. First, though, a bit of bad news. O'Rain spoke with Velena about your last mission. She didn't take the news well. O'Rain has been expelled. And I'm sorry to do this, but you've been demoted to Defender. You'll be fine, though.
Seems bad news travels fast. Knocked down a whopping 2 ranks from Guardian back to Defender. We have no choice but to complete contracts and lick our wounds, saying, well, there's not much you can do about the rank, but do you got any work at least?
I've only got one more thing on my plate for you, but it's an important one. The Stone of Saint Alessia has been stolen from Bruma Chapel.
The Stone of Saint Alessia? Wasn't I meant to take that to Joffrey?
I don't know if you're religious, but a lot of folks are, and the stone is important. Talk to Sirach in Bruma. He'll fill you in on the details. Talk to Sirach about that contract. Make me proud.
Azan promptly exits the training hall, and we can't help but feel a little sad this is our final contract with the Red Guard, a note in our journal. Azan has told me to report to the Chapel of Talos in Bruma and speak with a priest, Sirach, about a contract. Heading to the snowy city of Bruma, we find ourselves trudging up the lane from the east gate, beholding the monumental temple to Talos, the hero god of man. Thinking those that are bold enough to steal from the Nords must have some pretty sizable stones of their own. Inside the chapel, we see 2 priests conversing by the altar and stop to listen.
What's going on with you?
The skooma trade is making a lot of money for the tribes and elsewhere, and a lot of that is going to the Renridra Kryn.
That skooma trade is bad business, and the Renridra Kryn are just a bunch of thugs.
Good day.
How are you today?
Approaching the nearby Red Guard with a monk haircut, he welcomes.
Alessia, hear our prayer. Greetings, my friend. You must be from the Fighters Guild. We appreciate your help.
Zan, send me the finest stone of Saint Alessia? Alicia? Nobody knows how to pronounce it. What does this thing look like, anyway?
It's said the stone was blessed by Alessia herself, and while it remains in our possession, no harm may come to our church. The relic was stolen from us not long ago. A group of men was seen leaving the chapel the night the stone was stolen. We believe they were bandits.
Bandits, you say? How many?
From all accounts, there were 4 or 5 of them, and they've been seen heading east on the road. Please, find the Stone of St. Alessia.
Tell me something. Why would anyone attack a chapel unless they were coming for those wine stores I keep hearing about?
The chapel has made enemies here in the past. The Nords prefer their dragon Ismir to our father Akatosh. Find the stone, please.
Collecting our paint horse from the local stables and heading east along the road, we note in our journal. I've spoken to the priest Sirach in Bruma. He would like me to retrieve a holy relic of the church, the Stone of St. Alessia. He believes it was stolen by bandits recently, and he's heard that they were headed east out of town. Riding around the meandering Silver Road heading back to the Imperial City, we see, by an outcropping of rocks, a lone Khajiit, clearly a bandit and broken free of the pack. And so we loose a single arrow at his knee in hopes of crippling the fiend. Approaching the wounded cat, he doesn't appear to be startled by our attack and questions.
So I assume you're the one who's been sent to track us down. Damn stone was more trouble than it was worth.
I know you stole the stone. Give it up, Catman.
We stole it. I won't try to hide that now. I'm all that's left now, though. We may have stolen the stone, but we weren't the last ones to do it. The lot of us got jumped by a bunch of ogres. Partial to pretty gems, it seems. I'm the only one that survived.
And where is this stone?
It's not far from here. Here, I'll mark it on your map. Now just leave me.
Leave you? Ha! Not without the Stone of St. Alessia. Alicia?
I've told you all I know. Leave me alone. Go ahead, I don't care.
Taking Kashar's advice, it should be noted we can kill him if we wish, as we will not receive a bounty or gain any infamy for doing so. Killing him can start the Dark Brotherhood questline. Realizing if we're going to happen upon the bandits that he once travelled with, as his ogre story may be a fanciful tale, we do the unthinkable, then strip down the Khajiit of his leathers, forgoing our own steel armour for inferior light leather bandit attire. Truly a low point in our career. Heading east towards the location he marked on our map, we note, I found the lone survivor of the group of bandits that stole the Stone of St. Alessia. He and his men were attacked by ogres and left for dead. He tells me that the creatures took the stone and all their other precious stones with them. He believes that the creatures live in the alien ruin of Sador. Suffering through the frigid frost of the Jural Mountains, we find as we feel through the cold one of the many rune stones scattered around Cyrodiil, and ought to conjure its promised weapon and armour. With Daedric mace and gauntlets in hand, we continue up the mountain, finding what appears to be an archway leading to the entrance to an Ayleid ruin, only to soon hear voices lurking in the rocks to our right.
Have you ever met anyone who got rich betting on the arena? Damn, I've lost. I've lost. Oh, what's the matter? Is the baby gonna cry? Now you will know pain.
If there's one thing we hate more than bandits, it's hedge wizards. Though after looting the bodies and searching the camp, thinking they may be in league with Kashar and hold the stone that he had reported was stolen from his friends, it appears the Khajiit may have been telling the truth. And so we head northwest to the ancient stone door to Sador and make our way inside. Once inside the stony ruin, we find it eerily quiet, as a damp mist hangs in the air and no lights are present, save those that the aliens had created via crystals long ago. Thankful we're not in total darkness, we make our way down a northern hall and find it bifurcates. Heading through the southwestern tunnel, we find many precious Welkind stones. And here's something in the room that sounds like we're not alone. Disposing of the savage ogre, we heal up and collect the remaining stones before collecting the ogre's valuable teeth, which we can sell to Margat down by Leeuwin, thanks to a previous quest, Drunken Disorderly. Making our way further north, we find ourselves in a large lit hall, though nobody seems to be present. The hall itself splits up into 3 different rooms, and we find the room to the north holds a pressure plate. Heading to the end of the room, we see through the barred gate that a stone lies on a pillar. This must be the Stone of St. Alessia, though no guards appear, and we need to find another way around. Heading through the eastern entrance, and through its winding tunnels, we see a lone savage ogre resting in the corner of the room. Giving us enough time to test our own savage Daedric mace on its skull. Once dead, we collect its teeth and begin to feel our way back out of this arm of the ruin. However, another ogre awaits us, and we decide, in our wounded state, perhaps a bow and arrow is a better way to contend with this savage beast. Now, it should be noted we can head through the western arm and contend with more ogres, or, if our acrobatic skill is high enough, we can simply head back to the northern area, look up, and see that there's a platform above our head. With sufficient jumping ability, and thanks to our much maligned bandit leathers, we find a push block which opens the door, and our path to the cobweb-laden room that holds the amulet is laid bare. Looking at the stone, we're kind of disappointed. It's not shiny, as ogres are purported to like. It kind of just looks bumpy and old and perhaps in need of a good shine. In fact, it doesn't look like a precious stone at all. It makes you really wonder what these ogres were thinking. However, plucking it off the pedestal are quest updates. I found the Stone of St. Alessia in Sidor. I should return it to Siroc at the Temple of Talos in Bruma. Exiting the ruin at dawn, we see a gorgeous vista view of Cyrodiil in all its splendour, looking straight over the heartlands past Lake Rumer and the Imperial City, and the Great Forest, all the way to the Colovian Mountains. Honestly, I gotta say, this is one of the reasons I absolutely adore Oblivion. The fact that most of the game is in the basin of Cyrodiil, and you can look over basically the whole game. Chef's kiss. Once we're back inside Bruma's chapel, an elated Siroc questions.
Praise the Nine! Have you found it? Have you brought back the Stone of St. Alessia?
Yeah, here's your dirty stone. I think it's the right one.
Ah, you found it! I can't thank you enough. Your work is greatly appreciated. Here, take these. I wish I could give you more.
Siroc then gifts us 3 strong potions of healing, though we really do wish it was mead.
Bless you.
Exiting the chapel, we find ourselves back in the city of Anvil, and once again reclaim some steel armor and our dignity before heading into the Anvil Fighters Guild Hall. Once inside, Azan, to his credit, still training, looks up to greet.
What's the status of the Stone of St. Alessia? Have you returned it to Siroc yet?
Yeah, I gave him the dirty stone and took out a couple of ogres as well. How you holding up?
Well done. You've put in good work for me. I only wish I had more. Things are a little mean right now, as I'm sure you know. Here's your payment.
So, do you have any other contracts for me, Azan? Or is that it?
I've got nothing more for you, my friend. I believe Burrs has one further assignment, but that is all. I wish you luck.
Come on, I'm Fighters Guild. Like you. Maybe you got a couple of rats for me to take care of. Or Maglia if you want. I'll do that for free.
See Burrs Grokash in Chadenhall for contracts.
Alright, I'll go see Grokash. Can you at least give me an advancement? I'm back at Defender.
Look, I can't promote you. Not now. You'll need to get some contracts completed, and then I can do it. Take care.
With our quest finished, we soon hear around the guild.
They call it the Stone of Elysia, and they got it back, that's all I know. The Fighters Guild recovered the Stone of Elysia? I didn't know it was lost. Is it magical or something?
To begin the quest, The Noble's Daughter, we return to the Chadenhall Fighters Guild. Inside, we find in the barracks the surly Burrs Grokash, who questions.
I assume you're back for more work, because I don't see a big need to chat with you.
What's wrong with chatting? I do need a contract, though.
I've got more for you. Important stuff, actually. You need to go talk to Lord Rugdumph.
Yuck. What kind of lord would take a dump on a rug?
He's an Orcish noble, a fine man. Our families go back a bit. Anyway, his daughter is missing. Head to his estate and talk to him. Find his daughter, and mind your manners. I don't want you embarrassing me.
Alright, I'll help. Wait, Lady Rugbutt. Is this a joke? What's their obsessions with defiling rugs?
A fine model of an Orcish woman. Now go find her, and don't be rude, or she'll rip your ears off.
Okay, Kash. I'll leave, but just tell me something. What did the rugs ever do to them?
You need to go find Lady Rogbutt, meat. Why are you standing here talking to me? Go help Lord Rugdumph and wipe that smile off your face.
Departing the Fighters Guild Hall after a nice scolding, we note. Burrs Grokash has given me a contract to help Lord Rugdumph Groshurgak find his daughter, Lady Rogbutt Grashurgak. I can find Lord Rugdumph at his estate near Lake Arias.
Didn't I send you to see Lord Rugdumph?
Greetings.
True to his word, we check on our map and find high up north above Chadenhall, north of Lake Arias Caverns in County Chadenhall, nestled in the Vallis Mountains, is Lord Rugdumph's estate, just west of Walker's Camp. Riding a few hours north off the beaten track, we soon come to a sizable estate tucked away into the Vallis Mountains. The entrance is a quaint steel gate with a stone fence. As we enter, we inspect the large Chadenhall-style dwelling to our left, and to the right, a servant's quarters. Checking inside the servants' quarters, we see an active fireplace still ablaze, as well as many beds and foodstuffs. However, upon inspection, we find it is totally empty, and no servants can be found. Perhaps they have met a similar fate to Rugdumph's daughter. Heading west, we near the estate and find that there are large stone planter boxes that line the front of the house in a tasteful manner. Cobblestone is laid on the path, and there's a small outdoor setting to drink in the absolutely gorgeous view of County Chadenhall and beyond towards the Niben Basin. Taking a moment to appreciate Cyrodiil's view, as always, as it's prettiest, in my opinion, at dusk, we turn to enter Rugdumph's manor, which, it should be noted, is locked until this quest has begun. Once inside, we catch a glimpse of a male orc wandering around upstairs and take in our surroundings, as it's not every day you see orc royalty in Cyrodiil. On the ground floor, we see a few rugs we make sure not to step on. as well as an expensive-looking minotaur head hanging over the roaring fireplace. There are also multiple chests throughout the house, however we won't explore them, as it's not kosher to rob those who take contracts with the Fighters Guild. And we find in the west-northwest side of the room some tasteful paintings that are slightly askew, which is, I dare say, symbolic of the orc who owns the house. Speaking of which, we head upstairs, seeing a small sitting area just at the top, and behind us is a bedroom nook complete with wardrobe, chest, and single bed, and feminine embroidery draped on the wall, which we can assume is Lady Rogbut's. Turning to the lord of the manor, Rugdump, he oddly greets.
Speaketh you on.
Moving past the blue velvet-clad noble, we head into his private quarters for a moment, seeing to our left a small chair in a nook and chest, as well as his double bed to the right. In front of us, on a set of drawers, we see a single Nirnroot plant, which would be advised to collect if you're doing the Nirnroot quest, and also a semi-rare red book of riddles, only found one place else in all of Oblivion, being the Seed Tub Clarabella, which we covered in a previous quest, ferreting out sheep-stealing pirates in Anvil. Wasting no more time, we approach Gro Shogak, and he urges,
You are from the Fighters Guild, I resume. Good show. I am Lord Rugdump Gro Shogak. Let us conversate on the Lady Rogbut.
Yes, let us conversate. You did say you were Lord Rugdump, not Lady Rogbut, right?
I am Lord Rugdump Gro Shogak. How may I persist you?
Now, you may be questioning the choice of words Lord Rugdump uses, and that's because a quirk of his character that makes me absolutely adore the writing in this quest is that as he seems to be new money, or he's trying to rise to his station and speak like a noble, he is really grasping to find words, and so he doesn't always pick the right ones, and what you'll find is like a cryptic crossword. You have to figure out which word that he's used and then take the meaning of that and figure out the right word. I miss a whole bunch of them. And just to further this point, when I was digging through his dialogue, the developers had to somewhat humorously leave the voice actor notes on each line, such as letting them know that all of the dialogue is incorrect intentionally. So, if you would be so kind as to aid in deciphering the nonsensical sentence in the comments below, I'd much appreciate it. Having said that, we should try and aid him in finding his daughter, saying, Lady Rogbut, how can we help?
I fear that whilst out rock-picking, she was apprehensive. Stolen away. My suspension is that ogres have abjected her. Please search to the east of my sprawling abode. They have been known to vacate these premises. I am most gracious and truly woeful.
Ogres? I'm sorry. We've dealt with these creatures before.
Horrible creatures, replete with horror and evil. They roam freely eastward of the estate. I look forward to you exterminizing them.
Don't worry. I'll get your daughter back.
Please rescue my daughter from those brutes. I fear for her safe return. Proceedeth most urgent-like.
Proceedeth most urgent-like is one of the most iconic things you could say. Look, before we go and rescue his daughter, I do want to share he has a bunch of greetings and goodbyes that are just too good, such as,
Hither to me, good varlet. Speaketh you on. In sooth, mostly goodly done. Go to, bold fighter person. Anon us most soon again, forsooth. We are so very sooth.
Also of note, just quickly, he has custom rumors, just a handful, and if we approach him again, he'll ask,
How may I persist you? Please, I need you to find my daughter.
I'm sorry for bothering you. You seem like a man who knows things. Do you have any other pearls of wisdom?
Trolls, I have been foretold, are particular to unflammable weapons. I am resident to encounter the Minotaur. Its horny protuberances cause me great conflagrations. The will-o'-the-wisp is a luminous being. It has naturalized residences to many types of spells. Though I am replicant to spread rumors, I am led to believe the phylogeny of Skeletus beings makes them resistive to magic.
Precedeth most urgent-like.
Taking our leave of the Lord with the unlikely linguistics, which admittedly we can study his lexicon later, we note in our journal. Lord Rugdump tells me that his daughter was out picking rocks, and he fears she may have been taken away by a band of ogres that are known to live east of the estate, home to find and return her. Heading south on the path in which we came, we do a U-turn on our horse, veering north looking for some good rocks which would attract an orc, or perhaps some ogres, and soon find, to our shock, out in the open a small clearing at the base of the Vallis Mountains, are some ogres meandering about without a care in the world. Losing our first shot, we regretfully see we've aroused the wrath of a trio of the brutish fiends who flock towards us. Attempting to back up the hill to separate the ogres, we hear an unlikely voice behind us.
Stay away!
And see Lady Rugbutt herself.
Am I supposed to be impressed? Ha! You'll never take me down! This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. I give up!
With the lady fleeing into the water, this gives us an opportunity to slay her final abductor. After the ogre's dead, we collect its teeth as we can sell them to Margard down in Leowin for a good price thanks to the quest Unfinished Business. And, we note in our journal, I've killed the ogres who kidnapped Lady Rugbutt. I should now escort her back to her father's estate. Finding the drenched lady by the shore looking expectantly, we can't help but wonder if she was consorting with said ogres, until she angrily clarifies.
Glad you killed those things. I'd have done it myself, but apparently that's not ladylike. Let's get back to my father. Please, get on with it.
It should be noted, Lady Rugbutt will then become our companion and can fight for us. Well, we assume, seeing as we wander into Camp Walker to the southwest, where two skooma trading Dunmer can be found loitering.
You look like a bright one. You remind me of my homeland during the Blight.
I'm not listening to you. It's because I don't like you.
What is it, Sarah?
After that insult, we decide to put the thug in his place.
Hey, by the nine divines! That's all! That's all! I've fought.
We see the lady is not as much of a brawler as she proclaims, perhaps due to her evening gown.
I suppose we should get back to my father. Time for me to be a noble again. Please, get on with it.
And it should quickly be noted the Kamonatong thugs are part of a wider faction of skooma traders, which I covered in a video on the channel about the skooma trade in Oblivion, linked at the end of this video, as they are the end of an intricate network that carries all around Cyrodiil. Perhaps not the best company to be so close to a lord and lady. Speaking of which, we return to the Rugdump estate. And, once inside, we mount the stairs and find Lord Rugdump, elated to see his daughter, as he iconically greets.
We is most pleased, ethified.
This is so embarrassing.
You found my belabored daughter. I will tell Burrs Drogash about your indentures. Take this. It has been passed in my family for many generators.
We're then gifted a leveled amount of gold and Lord Rugdump's sword.
Anon us most soon again, forsooth.
which not only boasts a beautiful intricate pattern on the two-handed sword, but also, rather comically, aligns with Lord Rugdump's values, as it absorbs speechcraft 5 points on self and 5 seconds for strike, meaning you become a better speaker when hitting somebody, but also silence them for 5 seconds on strike. Whoever made this quest had the time of their life, I have no doubt about that.
Words cannot express my gratification for your help. Anon us most soon again, forsooth.
Speaking of which, now that the two nobles are reunited, we get to see them converse for the first time.
Hurry up before I change my mind.
What's new with you?
I heard people saying they ran into goblins around here not long ago. I can't stand those things.
Horrible things. I hear that the High Elves train them. I can't imagine it.
Stop talking.
Attempting to speak to Lady Rogbutt before we depart, she clarifies on her lack of combat prowess, stating,
Please don't tell anyone. Thanks for the help. Not that I couldn't have taken care of it myself, if I were still allowed to carry an axe. Let this be our little secret.
Departing the manor, we find ourselves back in Cheydinhall and in the Fighters Guild. As we go around the stairs and speak with Burrs, we nearly bump into him as the surly orc questions.
Didn't I send you to see Lord Rugdump? You need to go find Lady Rogbutt, meat. Why are you standing here talking to me?
Don't worry, that Lady Rogbutt has got a butt back in Rugdump's dump. He was most pleaseth the fight.
You got her back in one piece. Good work. I've always liked that girl. May have to look her up sometime. Here's your payment.
Paid 100 gold. We see an extra bounce in Karsh's step thinking about his daughter and try our hand at advancement, to which he gives us our old rank.
You've done good work, and you deserve better than your current rank. I'm restoring your previous rank of Guardian. Congratulations. Farewell.
If there's anything we've learned from this quest, it's that you can always judge an orc by the cover. This is the story of mystery at Harlan's Watch. To begin the quest, we see Bursgrow Karsh waiting for our arrival on the steps to Cheydinhall's Fighters Guild, and he questions.
Here for more work? I've got one more contract for you.
More work? I thought you said you were out of contracts.
I've got one more for you, meat. I assume you can handle it. I need you to investigate some disappearances at Harlan's Watch.
Depends. What disappearances? I'm guessing it's not a Cyrodiilic brandy supply.
Some folks are missing in Harlan's Watch. We've been contracted to find out what's happened. Speak to Durana Thelis for all the details. Get going.
With our final orders, we note in our journal, Bursgrow Karsh has given me a contract to go to Harlan's Watch near Cheydinhall and investigate the disappearances of some local populace. I should speak to Durana Thelis, not before Karsh scolds us for loitering.
Stop wasting time. Get to Harlan's Watch, now.
We see Karsh has marked the village on our map and find it's a small settlement just south of Cheydinhall's city walls. As we veer off the path near the south wall to Cheydinhall, we see a small pond, no doubt an outlet for the river that flows through the city, and to the northeast, a shrine to Akatosh. To the southeast, we make our way down the path to the trio of buildings where 4 villagers are congregating. Speaking to the closest Bosma with his back to us, Angvir, he questions.
Yes?
Hello there. I heard about some disappearances in town. You know anything?
You should ask Durana Thelis about that. Please, help us.
The remaining villagers, 2 of which are beast folk, huddle near a building with their back to us, clearly spooked.
We need your help.
And, by the building in the middle of town, is a dark elf awaiting our arrival.
Hello. You're from the Fighters Guild, I presume. It's good that you've arrived. We need your help with some disappearances.
Yeah, Keep hearing about these disappearances. What's the cause?
Some folks reported seeing strange lights near the old swampy cave. We sent folks to investigate them, but haven't seen them since. We need help.
Strange lights made people disappear. When? Why? How?
They started appearing a few nights ago. Odd, flickering lights. In the morning, there was nothing to see. But they were there at night. Be careful.
With the Dark Elf's strange recounting of flashing lights at night, only a few moons back, we decide to interrogate the locals, starting with the Khajiit, Samira.
It's been horrible. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I'd heard about disappearances and lights.
Horrible. Just horrible. Those poor people. Please, help us.
Not being able to make heads or tails of this assertion that bright lights have abducted people, the villagers seem to know little more. However, our detective skills divine there may be more to learn around town. So we head into the Bosma Angvir's house in the northwest of the settlement, finding a Spartan, sad state. In fact, it's a one-bedroom stone cottage with its most notable feature being the many cobwebs and furniture that's been knocked over some time ago. And it's clear that the cobwebs have been there longer than a few days, so it doesn't make sense the villagers were perhaps in mourning for some time and hadn't taken care of their houses. Speaking of which, Durara Thelis' own abode can be found on the southeast of town, next to the small crop which apparently keeps the villagers fed, thanks to the two beast folk who are solely in charge of the patch. Inside Thelis' home, we see something similar. Furniture tipped over on the bottom floor, and on the second floor, 2 empty beds, signifying that perhaps she had lost somebody as well. Although interesting, there is nothing of value found in this home either. However, the middle building found in the northeast of town is owned by Dietdom Jar, shared with fellow farmer Sadrasa. This home is fully stocked with foodstuffs, mouth-watering mead, and many bedrooms, enough to make it an inn of some repute. Perhaps it was used as a boarding house until some of the locals disappeared without trace. It should also be noted, apparently all the people of Harlan's Watch besides Drarana could have offered us more information depending on our disposition on the topic of strange lights only after we've spoken to her, and I've only learned this thanks to the unofficial wiki, where if they had a disposition lower than 30, they'd say.
I don't know you well enough to talk about that.
A disposition between 30 and 49, they'd claim.
I saw them a few nights ago. Very odd.
A disposition in 50 and 69, they'd open up.
They were seen around the swampy cave. Strange, moving lights. I've never seen anything like it. Old-timers have tales about such things.
And a disposition higher than 70, we would finally learn.
Some have said they're will-o'-the-wisps, though I've never heard of one killing a full-grown man.
Waiting until nightfall, we begin to stalk our way down southeast from the village to the Reed River and see the swampy cave in the distance, as well as the aforementioned bright lights. Although we were initially incredulous, these definitely look like will-o'-the-wisps as described. But we'd always thought of them more of a nuisance than something to be mortally feared. Approaching cautiously, we loose a single arrow, forgetting they're immune to their effects unless they're steel grade and above. Meeting them at the shore with our two-handed sword in hand, the wisps flank us, and it takes some great swaths of our sword before they fall. With our health drained, we collect the valuable glow dust goo. Searching the area for the bodies of the deceased villagers, we find nothing in the water or the surrounding shrubs, and note in our journal. It seems that the strange lights people were seeing over the swamp are will-o'-the-wisps, but there don't seem to be any signs of townsfolk who disappeared. The will-o'-the-wisps were surrounding a cave, though. I should investigate. It should also be noted, once we've located the will-o'-the-wisps at Swampy Cave and obtained the journal update, we can return to Drarana and inform her on the topic of disappearances, and she'll exclaim,
Will-o'-the-wisps? I've never heard of them killing a man. Please, find out what happened to our friends. We're counting on your help. Be careful.
Although Thelis clearly is looking out for our safety, why does it sound like she's threatening us?
This is your last warning! Get out or I'll call the guards and have you arrested!
Once inside, we descend east down the cavern's mouth like a large esophagus and see the cave bifurcates. To the left, we peer into the distance and see a lone figure loitering about. Loosing an arrow, we nail a troll right through its mandible, and it drops with a satisfying thud. Approaching its nest, we see that this little enclave is full of skeletons that have been consumed, as well as chests, perhaps, of those who were keeping items in the cave that were precious to them and had been killed or overwhelmed by the trolls. Was this the same villagers that were attacked? We don't know, but the bodies don't look fresh. Though it should quickly be noted, Swampy Cave actually contains a lot of great treasure in the chests. Even at level 1, it's surprising how good the items are, including the furred deerskin helmet that boasts Detect Life 25 foot on self, perfect for sensing any sentience skulking around the cave. However, before we even think of exploring the caverns further, we should probably return to Drarara and tell her of our morbid discovery.
Oh no, you believe trolls killed them? That's horrible. Please, if you can kill all those trolls, we'd greatly appreciate it.
And so we now enter the second half of our quest, troll hunting. Re-entering the Swampy Cave with the aid of our deerskin helm of Detect Life, we plumb the depths of the cavern and are betrayed by our newly acquired piece of armor as we stumble into a larger area and a troll sees us before we it. Deeper in the cavern's winding tunnels, we find a small den of the dead and a sizable swamp troll, ferociously guarding its grisly prize to the death. Killing the regenerative monster before it could flee and then attack from shadows unseen. We look over the troll's gruesome leavings, finding boards and many skeletons, as well as a fresh body of its latest kill, presumably an Imperial or Breton, named Edouard Daniel. Next to him, we find many bodies, including skeletons and decomposing, rotting corpses in various states of decay. Feeling for the loss of the villagers as we find one such zombie perched atop the platform the troll was feasting on, knowing that it could have been somebody's mother, brother, or even son. It's hard to tell due to the state of the mangled corpse's leavings. Taking a moment, we note in our journal, inside the Swampy Cave, I've found the corpses of the townsfolk that are missing. It looks like trolls have been feeding on the people weakened by the will-o'-the-wisps. I should make sure to clear out all the remaining trolls from the cave complex. After clearing out the caves of a half-dozen trolls, we round a corner and are confronted by our final adversary, who fights with the ferocity of a beast that knows it's the last of its kin. We then quickly note, I've killed all the trolls in Swampy Cave. I should report what I found to Drarana Thelis. Exiting the cave by a newly found northwestern door, we find ourselves in the Nibene Basin, just a ways down the river, and, just by the shore, see a familiar Nern route, which is worth collecting for those of you looking to complete the related quest. Scrambling up the steep hillside back to Harlan's Watch, we head into Drarara's Spartan southeastern residence. Finding her sleeping on the second floor, alone, we think back to the Breton, and she rouses to greet.
Please, see if you can't find our friends who have disappeared.
So the trolls are dead. There should be no more disappearances.
Oh no, you believe trolls killed them? That's horrible. Good that you killed all of the trolls, though. Please take this with our gratitude. What a pity.
We're then gifted the Mind and Body Ring as a reward for the quest. Although it appears to be a generic enchanted brass ring, it boasts Fortify Strength 8 points and Reflect Damage 8%. Quite formidable and worth a bit of gold. Leaving the Dark Elf to slumber, we note, Drarana Thelis was saddened at the fates of the townsfolk, but has rewarded me for my efforts. I should report to Burzgrow Karsh for payment of the contract. Curious that Drarana wasn't as shocked as we expected. Though it does make you wonder, did their townsfolk lead some of their unwanted down to the water's edge to be sapped of their strength by the Will-o'-the-Wisps, and then killed and consumed by the trolls in a grisly fate, only to take the worldly possessions and perhaps over the town and hire the Fighters Guild to cover their tracks? Maybe, but we got paid, so as far as we're concerned, the mystery at Harlan's Watch has been put to rest. The last thing we need to do is go see Burzgrow Karsh to see if he has a further reward, maybe some drinking money, helping a town out is thirsty work. Find ourselves back at the Chadenhall Fighters Guild, where we see a sleeping Burzgrow Karsh, like a newborn babe who wakes to see us standing over him.
You're supposed to be helping out the folks at Harlan's Watch. What's the status?
Good evening, Karsh. Sorry for waking you. The Harlan's Watch contract is finished. It was trolls responsible for the townsfolk disappearances. They ate the victims that were weakened by Will-o'-the-Wisps. Or at least, that's what the Dark Elf wanted us to believe.
Trolls, huh? And drawn in by Will-o'-the-Wisps? There's some lousy luck for you. Well, here's your payment. Afraid to say, I don't have any more contracts for you. I don't think Azan has any either. You did pretty good work, Meat. I've got nothing else. Don't believe Azan does either. I think you better go talk to our friend in Coral. You know who.
I have no idea who you're talking about. If I'm too good for contracts, you can at least give me a new rank. I know, the Completer.
You've cleared every contract we've got on the books. That's some good work. You're now promoted to Champion of the Fighters Guild. You outrank me now, so there's certainly no more I can do for you. You might check with an old friend of yours, though. Rumor has it that Orion's looking for you. You didn't hear it from me, though. Good work and good luck.
Wow, thank you. Did you say you're going to give me an advancement?
There's really no more I can promote you. After all, you do outrank me. Go hurt something.
As Burzgrow Karsh's freshly minted superior officer, we attempt to rouse the orc once more, demanding he gives us a contract. as we still need money for booze, but he simply insists.
I'm sorry to tell you, but there are no more contracts to be had. As you know, business hasn't been good due to the Blackwood Company. And you didn't hear it from me, but I think you should go speak with Orion. Now, he'd like your help with a couple things. Goodbye.
Amazed, we have completed every contract available in the Fighters Guild. We're almost tempted to go join that Blackwood Company, except for the fact they took Maglia, we note in our journal. I've been promoted to the rank of champion of the Fighters Guild. Wait, that was Modron's rank. I'm told that Modron O'Rain is looking for me, and I should speak with him as soon as possible. Yes, we should go visit him in Coral. Our old contract giver will no doubt be elated at the fact we've got his own rank of champion. And perhaps he knows what to do about this blight, the Blackwood Company, stealing all our contracts, and probably booze while they're at it.